Hi everyone, it's Sam and I'm back with another video for Lawn Fawn. Today I am going to be using the new How You Bean Seashells add-on, the really high five stamps, especially the little bottom of the balloon right there, and the Life is Good stamp set, and the large Slimline with sliders dies to create a fun birthday beachy card. I am of course coloring my images with Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. What I forgot to show was I had stamped all my seashell images, and see the little bottom has a little balloon knot at the bottom of all the seashell images now? I stamped the balloon bottom image from Really High Five onto the bottom of all my seashell. I knew I was gonna tongue twist myself. On all the bottom of all the seashells. Okay, and that's how I'm going to turn these fun large seashell images into balloons for this beach party. I am coloring, of course, rainbow balloons because there's not much happier than a rainbow birthday party, in my opinion. And I'm just using 3 colors for each shell, basically. And as you saw for the yellow, I did a little bit of brown for the shading and then 2 shades of yellow. For this mint one, I started with a teal, a light blue, and then a soft green. And I just blended it out with my water brush. I added smiley faces to every single shell that I use because they're adorable. That's as simple as that. And at first, I wasn't going to color one of the shell balloons in a darker green because I thought it was too abrasive, but I actually really like how it looks, especially on the finished card. So I'm glad that I did go with that. And I did not color a red balloon shell because I knew all my little critters who are at this little beach birthday party are crabs, and I was going to color them in various shades of reds and red orange and red pinks. So I was like, I'll start with pink for my little rainbow scene. And I also didn't use any real blues for my rainbows because there was going to be blue with the ocean scene that I added in the background. So all the colors get used in the end. As you can see, per usual, I always spray water directly onto my craft mat. I am using a dry water brush that I dip in the sprayed water and wipe off with a paper towel on the side to make sure it's really not super soaked. As you can see on my middle finger, I also brush off some of the marker tips when they combine, especially that hot pink with the soft beige color combo. The beige picks up a lot of the pink, and I don't want to really contaminate that too much, so I'll brush it off on my finger, and then by the time I'm done coloring, I have a Technicolor Dream finger, basically. Anyway, okay, so now I am going to color the crabs. This first crab I'm going to color red, and I'm using a dark brown for my shading, my carmine red, which is like a bright pinky red, and then an orange to pull that out with a lot of white space. And then again, I'm just using a very dry, it's not very dry, I'm using a water brush that's barely wet, that's a better way to say it, to pull out the colors in the middle. And that's the only crab I'm showing that I'm going to color because I color them all the same way. And then I'm just going to move on to my sandcastle, which will be about the same color as the background. And I'm just using my mustard brown to color the whole thing. And then I'm going in with my dark brown, the same one that I use for my red shading, in the areas that I want it shaded on the castle, and then using the same mustard brown to pull it out. And it just adds a little bit of a little bit of shading to the castle image. I'm also only going to color one of these party hats because they're all the same and they're so tiny. I mean, there's like no blending. I did pink, orange, yellow, green, mint, and green. And then now I'm showing you how they all turned out after I added the details with the white gel pen and colored all the images. And we're ready for the background. I die cut with the large Slimline with sliders from 80-pound white cardstock. And I also am using, as you can see, a piece of white cardstock that I had previously used to cut with the stitched hillside borders. And this is just the extra piece that didn't get used, and I'm just using it as a mask to kind of create the water edge of this ocean, if you will. I'm using Distress Oxides in Vintage Photo, Fossilized Amber, and a little bit of Walnut stain at the bottom. You can see here it's like super splotchy. I do smooth it out a little bit, but I wasn't too worried about it because it's supposed to be a beach. So, I mean, it's not going to be perfectly smooth. Plus, what I always do is I smush the colors on my craft mat and then splatter those same ink colors all over. That's going to cover up a lot of the splotchiness as well, if you're trying to hide it. And then I also add a little bit of white acrylic ink to the splatters as well to add even more of a sandy type texture. And I think, I mean, I've done this a million times. I just really love how that looks for a beach. All my beaches look like this. Then once it was dry, I removed that mask and I'm going to start ink blending the ocean part. I'm using Wilted Violet at the top, Blueprint Sketch, Peacock Feathers, and then at the very bottom, kind of going into the sand, I'm using Salvaged Patina. And you can kind of tell it looks okay. I mean, a lot of the Salvaged Patina got on the sand, which I don't mind, because what I'm actually going to do is take more white acrylic ink and a very dry, big, bristled brush. And I'm just tapping the white acrylic ink along the edge of my ocean so it looks just like a crashing wave into the seashore. And I think it looks just like a beach scene. Now I'm going to heat emboss my sentiment. It's just going to say, time to celebrate, which obviously is appropriate for the shell balloons. And I'm just using black licorice cardstock and some white embossing powder. And I'm just going to heat set that. And then I am ready to trim it out and it'll be ready to add to the card. And this is basically what the card is going to look like once I attach everything. I have all those little strings attached to my new balloons, which are the shells. And I'm attaching most of the crabs and shells with the Lawn Fawn Jumbo glue pen directly to the background. But some of them will get foam tape for a little bit of dimension as well. But like I said, most of it is directly to the card. The sentiment is popped up with foam tape. And I will pop up this shell, or this crab with his starfish balloon. I, of course, use all the adhesive. I use the foam tape, then I also put the glue on top of the foam tape and attach it to the card. I cut the extra little bit of the string that I didn't need on that, you know, that would go too far down. I cut that so it hit the crab's claw pretty well. I'm going to do the same type of thing to elongate the string of this mint balloon. And I'm just going to make it come through the bottom of the sentiment and then make this go under. And it looks like it's an extra long balloon for our little crab friend at the bottom. And our last crab will be popped up with foam tape as well. And then, of course, I had to add that big bouquet of shells to our sandcastle, which I thought was just like the best place to have a crab party on the beach. I do pop up. Wait, do I pop up? I don't pop up the sandcastle. I do pop up the balloons. So just the balloons get popped up with the sandcastle. And I love that little extra bit of dimension. I really didn't want to cover up too much of the background, but I couldn't resist using this bouquet with the sandcastle. So I did. But you tell me, should I have covered it up or left it? I'm interested to know. Next, I'm just going to create my card base that the scene will go on with some glue and some tape. And that's really it. I'm attaching my card front to it. And of course I ran out of adhesive at the very last minute. So I'm just going to use some glue and I attach it. And that is my fun summer birthday card. Turning these seashells into balloons. I think they're so fun and cute, and hopefully you enjoyed making it with me. Thanks so much, and don't forget to check this card out up on the Lawn Fawn blog. Bye!